Good evening and welcome to Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News with Scott Allen, and the guy over there on the end's name is Joe Staples. Before we get finished, let's look at these picks from last week. I'm gonna go ahead and get that straight.
Let's get that started right.
Let's go ahead. We're gonna get this straight right now. I won again.
Oh Lord!
Clayton finished second.
Squirrel's got his day every now and then.
Yeah. Well, that's my third one. How many of you got?
I'm still in one. I got one.
You got one. That's where the squirrel came in. That's where the squirrel came in. But anyway, Joe finished last, so he'll get to pick first this week.
Oh God! Like that helped last week.
So anyway, that's where we are. A lot of stuff to talk about.
There is a lot of stuff.
And the first thing I'm going to talk about is right here. Once again, I hope Al Pierce, I don't know if he watches this or not, but I hope he's watching. I told you.
He don't watch competitor shows.
Whatever.
Sure.
Well,
but we got the inside first.
Al Pierce from Auto Week. Just let it be known that
not to call anybody out.
When we were standing there talking at a certain racetrack,
Richmond.
I wasn't gonna go all into all this.
You might as well do it. Go all the way.
I made the comment that I knew what was going on. He said, "Yeah, well, whatever." He didn't believe me again.
Well, it's not official.
It will be official tomorrow.
Well, the 15th stuff won't be official till this weekend.
No, that won't be official until Saturday. Well, whatever. But Tony's leaving after next year. That's a definite. And the word is that Clint's going to go into that car. A lot of people have been asking why Clint Boyer, but I don't know who else would be. I mean,
well, I seen that he wanted Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson's locked up until 2017, and Ganassi and those guys are not going to let Kyle Larson go.
No.
I think Clint's a great fit for that organization.
Yeah, I think he was, his attitude and the way he does things, him and Harvick together is going to be fun.
I think all of them. I mean, I think all of them together is a great dynamic.
Right.
You got Danica over there, which is Danica's funny. I mean, she doesn't really seem like that from the outside, but she is funny. She kids around. You got Kurt. I mean, all those guys take their job very serious, including Tony, Harvick. But I think they all are racers at heart. Clint is going to fit in like a glove, just like a glove. I think.
Yeah, I think he will too. I think he's going to be good for that team. I kind of disagree with you on the Kurt Busch thing, but you know.
Yeah, but I think they all have that same drive. And Kurt's a nice guy when he's not worrying about a race car.
Yeah, if he's not even around a race car.
Well, I think he's a lot better than he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he's definitely matured.
Yeah.
You know.
Both you got to understand he's in a situation where he better mature real quick.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
Well, but he don't have to watch his P's and Q's as much as he used to.
Right.
I mean, he's driving for the sponsor. The sponsor doesn't really,
Anyway, 5 Hour will be going with Clint to the 14th.
Man, that's cool.
And next year to the 51. So.
And that's going to be good for. I mean, I know it's bad for Allgaier. It's going to be looking for a ride, and I'm sure maybe they'll have a nationwide team that maybe he'll just go back to and run, and possibly could come back. I mean, because this is only a 1-year deal, but that will elevate Harry Scott or H. Scott Motorsports.
That's what he said on today, was that he hopes that the move they make will elevate his team in 14, 15 months. It's going to take for that person to be there. Make that team go to the next step. Mm-hmm. As Kurt took that team to a different level, then they come up there. Allgaier, he's a great kid, a great race car driver, but he just did not take it to that level.
Well, they don't have the money either.
No, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll go with that.
I mean, he's not bringing in the money, or he doesn't have the sponsorship to fully fund. I know they're running the whole season, but they don't have the funds to fully run the whole season. And that's kind of why he's out.
That's basically the reason why he's out.
Yeah, I mean, seven's fully not the 7. I'm sorry.
46.
46 is fully funded.
So to bring your sponsor with you helps a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to come in and then they'll go you know, that's a 1 year thing too. And then he'll go with him to the next, because wherever he goes, I hear 5 hours going too. So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and I think they'll have enough sponsors left over on the 14 to kind of fill in a few races that the 5 hour doesn't.
Let's talk Chase for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk to Chase for just a minute before we go to our first guest, and we'll do it after our second guest. We'll talk about it some more. But let's talk Chase. Harvick
Is on the outside.
Yep.
And it's
it's his only way of getting in my opinion, because he's 20-some points
20
back.
2 or 24.
So he's
Either
20-some
Like
points back.
13th or 14th, wasn't it? I think it's.
He's out
He's
of the
15th.
15th.
Yeah, he's next to the bottom. Clint's on the bottom. But today was the hearing for Clint, and I haven't heard anything back
Yeah.
on that. So if he didn't win his appeal, he's definitely he's out.
I don't foresee him going past Dover.
Well, he's
anyway.
almost a full race out.
Mm-hmm.
So he could. I mean, even there's no way he can win and get in, but
Yeah,
chance of that
just
happens not good.
Yeah, they're not up to par.
Harvick will surprise me. I have him going all the way to the end, and now he may not make it.
Make the field.
But look how good he run this week.
Yeah,
I sure hate to be that engineer that made that call.
well,
To
I don't
come in
think it
that
was the
lap.
call. They said after the race that what's the crew chief?
Ronnie Childers.
Rodney had tweeted that he had saved enough gas. It was that they must have not got it full. With the technology that they can get out of the car now, it showed that he should have made it.
He's
without a
always
problem.
been one of the best as far as managing.
He's
this
pretty
field,
good,
too,
yeah.
You know, so
Pretty good. That they should have made it, but the only thing is either the bladder and the fuel cell, or they just didn't get it full under the stop. And I will say, I was listening to him on the scanner on that last caution. Rodney called him in, and he was already past the commitment cone to top up and maybe take 2 tires, which would have been fine. He would have at least been a top 3 car. But afterwards, he's like, well, it's too late. And he's like, well, the live camera is supposed to be on my screen. Apparently, it's not live because he was watching the car and thought he had enough time to call him in, and they missed it. They didn't talk about that, but I heard him over the scanner saying that.
Well, I hate to see him be one of the guys with the season he's had. He may be one of the first ones out.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
I was looking earlier, and he has led 1,670 laps this year. He has led almost twice as much as the 22, which is in second. He's led 860 some laps. So I mean, he's almost led twice as many laps after this weekend than the second place person that has led laps. That's astronomical.
Oh, yeah.
And to think that he may not make it past Dover. I mean, that's
No, that's the way it works. I mean,
yeah.
I think Boyer's going to be out. Harvick, he has a chance to win. He could make it in if he wins.
It's going to be tough. Now, if he'd have finished in the top 5, he'd have a lot easier day.
But if he
Sunday.
makes it in, or he makes it in with a win, that's going to creep somebody else down that's going to have a hard time.
Which Junior is on there, and Jeff is just above him. No, Jeff's 11th. The one
McMurray, yeah,
is 11th, and then Junior is 12th. And then I mean, you got another one that could win and knock somebody out too. Is the 18?
oh yeah.
He runs well at Dover.
Yeah, and he's pretty much in a situation. Well, he's up there a little bit. He
He's
may
a-
be
he
able
can get
to
it.
pull it.
Yeah.
He could pull it. But
That's who I picked to win the chase.
It's gonna be tough. How about these restarts, man? We were just talking about it before we came on about the restarts. The restarts, it's the same restart for years and
Right.
years and years. And the easiest explanation I heard was the leader has to be the first one in the box, and he has to be the first one out of the box.
Right.
And that's the simplest way to look at it. And I hated that Keselowski got caught with that, but thank Jeff for last week when they said they thought he jumped, but NASCAR,
I will say in that
NASCAR
one video,
like you said, NASCAR told them,
Yeah.
we don't want to do this, but if you know,
If you're going to complain about it, we're going to go ahead and step up to the plate.
yeah, and that happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I will say on the whole Jeff Gordon deal, it looked in that one video that he jumped big time, but when you watch the in-car camera, it did not look like that. It didn't look like he just got a good start. So it's hard to say.
They did say that they brought some new equipment in there, and I guess what they were doing was trying to catch the sound of the engines from the restart.
Well, you got
You know?
the two that are watching it is Chad Little and Elton Sawyer, are two former
Right.
nationwide winners and racers, and both spent some time in the Cup Series. They're the ones that are watching this and making the call. They're sending it to the tower.
Right.
Their job is to watch the two lines, and that's what those were the two that were watching that this weekend.
Okay.
So when you have those two making the call,
well, you know, that's par for the course right now. But,
It's racing.
I hope you get a new phone before we go to Charlotte.
I sure. Well,
And thank you, Charlotte, for approving us.
Yeah, really. I would love to have a new phone today if I could.
We will be at Charlotte.
Anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. But yeah, we're gonna be at Charlotte. Sorry, we're not gonna be able to join us at Charlotte.
At the local track.
Joe will still be at the racetrack.
I will be at
just
the
not at the
racetrack.
same racetrack.
So we need Joe to let us know what's going on over at Langley this week.
I will.
Let us
we
know.
could do that.
Yeah, we need to do that. But we're not gonna, we're not gonna rub it in that we're gonna be at Charlotte. We wouldn't do that.
I know you wouldn't.
I just hope they have some good food.
There we go. And the first day, I can see the first person we're gonna run into in the media center is Al Pierce.
In the food line.
Yeah, and he's gonna say, here, all they want to be in here for is to eat.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about the Bubba Wallace and
Oh,
Brian
God.
Scott thing? I wonder
Man.
what kind of penalty Brian's gonna get, because he reached in there and kind of took a couple shots at him.
Did he? I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
see
he
him
did.
take a couple
Oh,
shots.
Yeah,
at him.
he did. Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, he definitely took a few shots.
And then they got him to walk away, and then he went back.
Yep.
Yeah, but did you see the stuff that was tweeted afterwards?
Oh, yeah, it got pretty, yeah.
Yeah. Brian said that he better watch out because he called his wife a C word. And it was going to be before they got to the racetrack. I think he's going to be standing outside Bubba's door.
Not going to be good. I think it's going to be more to that. We'll talk about that again too. But first of all, I want to say Jimmy Means' hauler burnt up
Yeah.
and burnt the car up and had a lot of damage. He says they're going to be okay. They're going to get back. They're going to be back at the track, but they had a lot of damage. I don't know if you saw the pictures.
I did. There's a video going through the haulers. It's I'd almost say it's done,
They lost
or it's going to
everything.
have to be gutted and redone. I don't know how bad the cars were. It might just be a lot of smoke damage, but there is a GoFund account if you'd like to put your name on the car for actually Charlotte. Mary Dixon has it at her MDR Motorsports. You can go on Facebook and find that. If you'd like to put your name, I think it's $25 or $50, and you can put your business and logo for like $100. But Jimmy Means has been around for a long time. He is a great ambassador for the sport. I mean, what else can you say? It's Dale Jr.'s favorite driver.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when he was a kid, he had the 52 Alka-Seltzer
Yep.
shirts and Jimmy Means, and I know Jack's been at the racetrack and seen a few times where Jimmy Means' car got wrecked or tore up, and they've unloaded Junior's cars. They've unloaded their backup car and given it to Jimmy
Yeah.
Means to run.
They did that at Daytona a couple years ago. The car got tore up real bad in practice, and they went over there, and I think Jimmy and them were getting ready to just say, well, that's it, we're going to have to go home.
Yeah.
And Junior made them unroll, bring one of the other cars out, and
cool.
You know, he told them that's their car. Do what you need to do. But then, you know.
Yeah, and you know, it's just great. I don't think, and they runs the whole races. He doesn't start and park, and I don't know how he does it, to be honest. But I seen a video of him at where they did a thing riding to work with one of the guys on I forget what show it was, but they went with Joey Case, and you got Jimmy Means in there building the engines. I mean, he works 7 days a week at the shop, and you know it.
All right, let's go ahead and give Shayne a call so we get him in here and get him to tell us a little bit about what's going on with
Shayne
him.
ain't got a problem talking.
Oh.
Are you hooked up to the thing? I turned it on. It's on. It's on.
No, it's not. It's dead.
I guess you had to use speakerphone on your thing. I thought I had plugged it. Well, maybe I didn't plug it in. I took it over there to plug it in.
Not easily line up or something.
Yeah. Well, it did when I turned it on a while ago.
Hello?
All the more reason to get a new phone, Jack.
Yeah, I'm beginning to believe this. This is really fun. Y'all go ahead and talk about the show here while I'm trying to figure this out.
You want me to call him?
Yeah, if you got it. You got his number?
No.
His home phone number?
Mm-mm.
It's pretty bad when the first number you pull up on your phone is Gary Ramsey. Hold on, Shayne, we're coming. We're going to blame this on Joe.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Laws. How you doing this morning?
Fine, brother. How you doing?
We're doing good, doing real good. So how's things going? You ready for the last week at Langley this weekend?
Won't be at Langley this weekend, but I'll be at Martinsville.
Oh, that's right. You're going to Martinsville. I forgot about that. That's right.
Yes, sir.
So how did the practice go up there at Martinsville? Now, I saw this picture of you with a sign strapped to you. You seem to be...
Practice went really good. We only had one car lost the motor, unfortunately, and one car spun on the backstretch, but all in all, practice went good. And just kind of walked around looking at the cars, you know, because once things get going, I got plenty of time to walk around and look. And, you know, that's just things that I've seen that I thought might be an issue. So I figured I'd make a little sign and let everybody see it and give them a week to get ahead and get things right. So hopefully we can speed the tech line up a little bit.
Yeah, I've been down there before when the tech line was something else. So, but you just seem to be the billboard that walks around the race. I saw at Langley you walking around with a sign on you.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it helps. You know, communication is a good key with all the guys, and that's what everybody really wants, you know. So instead of having to try to lean in and talk to each individual person, I just make a sign and walk around, and, you know, everybody's on the same page, and if somebody's got a question, they ask, and if not, I feel like everybody's getting the same word.
So Shayne, how did you get started in racing?
Well, when I first got started, I had a friend of mine that was working on a grand stock car at Langley, and I didn't know nothing about race cars, didn't even have a clue, and he asked me to go over to this guy's house named John Phillips and help him. They were sandblasting a chassis, and I had no clue what that meant. And so I just rode over one day, and then I went back the next day, and John Phillips started talking to me, and the driver was Tony Steele, and just started talking, and I just started hanging around, and that's where it went from there.
What else? Have you been just at Langley? I know you've been around some other tracks. I know you do big races, but where else have you worked as far as tracks you've been to?
You know, I work at, I'm fortunate enough, almost all the big races, you know, South Boston, Myrtle Beach, Martinsville, especially our Hampton Heat at Langley. You know, just working all the races. I was fortunate enough that I worked at Southampton. That was a great facility to work at, and then it closed down. And I went back to Langley. I worked at Old Dominion Speedway for a couple of years, and then just kind of went back into Langley and I've been hanging out there.
What made you want to become official? Because last I remember, back in the years ago, you were doing some tires for Danny or Greg. I don't remember which one. I think it was Danny.
Yeah, I was doing tires actually for Greg. You know, I did a Langley thing for a while, and then I did some weekend help, changing tires during different series, and then I went to work with Greg Edwards at his shop, and I did that for about 3 years, and then I kind of decided that I didn't want to do it every day or anymore, so I actually kind of quit for a year, and Butch Lassiter called me and asked me to come by Langley Speedway and just check things out and see if I liked it. John Christianberry and Kenny Lee were the head officials there at the time, and I went out there, and I've been friends with Butch for years, and he was a race director. And as soon as I walked through the gate, he had a little brown bag, and he threw it at me, and it had a red Winston Racing Series official shirt in it and a headset and a radio, and he said, I'm going to start paying you this amount, not an option. He said, and you're working tonight. And that's just how Butch did business, and I said, well, okay. So anyway, I put it on, and I said, what am I doing? And he said, well, they say that they tried to catch you enough and caught you a few times, so they say they think you'd be really good in tech. So I kind of started, and I got full bore into the tech, and I knew after I was there for 2 or 3 months, I knew I wanted to work at the big races. And back then, the only 2 big races were Martinsville and Myrtle Beach, and I knew I wanted to get my foot in the door somehow.
So, when you look at you go from Langley to a Martinsville to a Myrtle Beach, cars are coming from different places. How much difference are there in, let's say, a car from Greenville Pickens and a car from Langley and a car from Kingsport? How many? I mean, what are there? There's got to be some kind of differences between those types of cars.
Yeah, as far as overall cars are pretty much all the same, because you know most of the guys, or almost all the guys that come, that Lane Carroll and myself pick, come to these races, or like the ones that come at Myrtle Beach or wherever, they're from all these tracks. So we try to get different guys from every track. So it's like the best of the best we're getting. The biggest thing is it's hard for the racers because, you know, all the tracks are different as far as like your motor packages, your weight packages for that particular track. You know, just because I run at Langley Speedway 3,100 pounds and 1,400 on the right side, or I may give a weight break to a crate engine, my package might not work, say, at South Boston, or might not work at Caraway, or something like that, you know, at different tracks. You know, so that's the biggest thing. It's really harder for the racers. The cars pretty much come, you know, I mean, tread width is good. You know, most tracks are fortunate enough to take guys at the tracks that bought them all a referee, and we all kind of use the referee tool, which takes, you know, tread width, wheelbase, quarter height. So that really makes it nice on all of us. And we try to get together once a year and talk about things. You know, tracks are different, but all in all, I would say 85% cars are pretty much the same. How
did the car series, the new car series that Jack McNally puts on, how is that different? Is there any difference between their late models and the late models that run on a weekly basis?
I think the only difference, really, I hadn't really looked at their rule package, but I think really, and I'm just guessing, I really think really the only difference is maybe bump stops, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you know, I think the weights are pretty much the same. I think any given, like a Langley late model, South Boston late model, Motor Mile late model, you know, I think anybody can go run the car series, and then I think you have to just get tuned into the bump stop package.
I was gonna say, you come a long way from not knowing anything about sandblasting or anything to talking intelligent about these cars.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. I've never told anybody this, and I hope I have time to tell you. If not, just cut me off. But the first big Martinsville race that I ever went to, I wasn't even invited. Butch Lassiter and Kenny Lee and them guys were working, and I knew I wanted to work. So I asked them guys, I said, look, I'm coming. And I said, I'm going to sleep on your floor in your hotel room. And that next morning, you know, Lynn Carroll had a meeting with all the officials at the racetrack, and everybody was standing around, and Lynn Carroll kept looking at me. And I was there, I had a uniform shirt on, and I was ready to work, and I got in the check line, and I started helping them guys work and check something. And finally Lynn come in, and he said, who are you? And I told him, I said, I'm Shayne from Langley Speedway, and I'm your free help for the weekend. He said, well, do you have a place to sleep? I said, yep, I'm sleeping on the floor in Butch and Kenny's room. And that's how I worked my first race. And Joe Collins was there. And it was 2 weeks after that, he called me and asked me to come work Myrtle Beach. So that's kind of how I got started working at the big races.
Did you get your own room at Myrtle Beach?
I had my own room at Myrtle Beach. Yeah, it was nice. You know, so anyway, that's just kind of, I don't think I've really ever told anybody that, but except for this guy
that's a good story.
In the tech line.
Yeah.
I definitely like the advice, so I might be knocking on your room this weekend.
Joe wants to know if your floor is free.
Yeah.
I know you've been around for a long time. You've been at, and I used to race at Southampton, so that's a you know, I know I thought I remembered you from there, but I wasn't sure. But what are some of the? I know you've had some funny stories dealing with officiating, and I know you had them at Southampton because there was some real characters there.
Oh yes.
I know. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's just, you know, every team, every crew chief, every guy's different in how they approached it. And I guess maybe a funny thing I try to do is I try to lighten the mood because, you know, I was a racer, so, you know, I know crew chiefs get excited. They come running down. They're ranting and raving, you know, and, you know, I let them have a pit pass worth of ranting and raving at me. You know, I stand there and take it. And, you know, I try to lighten the mood. And I picked up little things from different guys, different inspectors or different guys. And if I get a guy that's really, really mad and I know he's mad, I got to try to calm him down. Anyway, I'll say, hold on, dude. Don't you pop a Tic Tac, then holler at me again. You know,
so how many times did you have to do that the other night with that last late model race and all that stuff going on? How many times you?
The bonafide was the worst.
I tell you what, it was definitely some good, entertaining ticket selling, hot dog selling.
Absolutely.
No, but you know, guys are serious about it. You know, I mean, it's definitely a job. It's a full-time job during the week for these guys, and you know, I know how it is. I mean, I crew chiefed, and when somebody hits your car and tears it up, it's just like somebody's taking one of your children.
Well, we appreciate you taking some time with us tonight. I know you got a busy schedule coming up for the next week or so. Hopefully, we'll see you up at Martinsville on Sunday.
Well, I'll definitely be there, and just like I tell anybody I talk to, if you can make this trip on Sunday, everybody please try and come to support Clay Campbell and his family in Martinsville. It takes a lot to put on one of these shows. You just don't realize the amount of people that have to come. You know,
yeah.
Most of your fans just don't realize. Just like in our crew alone, I think there's just with officials in the tower, just us alone. I think there's 23 people.
Wow. Yeah, you got a lot going. You got a lot to keep up with in that short time, and I'm gonna tell you that's some good racing in Martinsville when that late model race shows up there. It's a great race.
It is, and you know, like I said earlier, it's really on the official side, it really gets easy, you know, at these races like Martinsville and Myrtle Beach and, you know, the Hampton Heat, because as we bring in guys and from each one of the tracks, and there's really the best of the best guys that we bring in, and we kind of gel. It's like a family. It's just like a room full of brothers and sisters.
Well, I'll see if you still feel that way Sunday during the racing Sunday, because I've always been up there. There's always been a lot of action, so I'll see if you still feel that way.
I hear you. Well, look, I really appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Hey, look, we're gonna get you back on real soon, and hopefully we'll see you at Martinsville, and I know I'll probably see you at Myrtle Beach.
And keep them videos coming.
Absolutely, I will. Yeah, and you know, just that's funny. I forgot about the videos, but yeah, you know, the videos. I try to do them and try to put a message in there. You know, racing is so serious, and the guys are serious. I try to lighten the mood up a little bit, and try to lighten the mood up in the check line too. So anything I can do to make the guys laugh and smile, and actually, the guys ask me every week, when's the next video coming out?
Yeah, you got some good ones.
All right, guys.
All right, well, we appreciate your time.
And, call me anytime.
All right, man, we appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
You know, it does make a difference when you try to lighten the mood, because sometimes there is a lot of work out there on Saturdays, depending upon what your situation is and how many people you got to help. It is fun to have somebody that kind of laugh at you. And yeah, I was just gonna tell him give us 5 more minutes, but
He definitely lightens it up for us officials as well too.
Oh, he's funny.
Oh yeah.
yeah. And the videos are funny, and like I said, I know some people say, well, he's telling what they're checking this weekend, but you don't even know what y'all are checking until Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So, the videos are funny. I think everybody kind of laughs at him, and you got to make things fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Makes it interesting for the guys. They don't have to be so serious about things, you know, because it gets serious enough as it is.
It does, and I can imagine how hard it is to make some of those calls when you got to DQ somebody. Because these are, I mean, we're all friends, but you still got to do your job.
Right.
So I mean, I know earlier in
four guys, you know, last race, and I mean that definitely was a tough call to make, you know. But
yeah, but Shayne doesn't make those calls, right? And that comes from the tower.
That came from Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely came.
I
from
think
Jimmy.
it's easier from Jimmy because you don't see those guys as much as Shayne Laws does.
Right.
You know,
because he's right in the middle of it.
And I know it was an interesting point that the guys on the modified tour was telling us that when they make a call for a car, whatever the issue may be, for the guy running the race, he said, "Don't tell me who it is. Call it over and say car 22."
Right. Don't want to make it personal.
Right, because then it becomes sort of a personal thing.
Hello, Mr. Butterbean.
How you doing?
We're doing good. I just can't get used to that calling you Butterbean thing. I don't know what it is. But anyway.
It's stuck with me for a while.
All right, joining us now is Brenden Queen, late model driver out at Langley Speedway, better known as the Butterbean.
The Butterbean.
The Butterbean.
And he's got some big sponsorship. Yeah, and some big sponsorship announcements.
Yeah,
this upcoming season, man. That's got to be. How long have you been working on this?
Well, things just started to click. I guess a little bit after the Hampton Heat, when I started getting up there and really pressuring the leaders. I guess people started to really notice that we had started getting our stuff together and running competitive, and all the talk about maybe winning the championship without a win and all these things that could happen. And people just started talking and contacting me, and it just took, a little bit. We had to wait till the end of the season to really announce anything, just because of their other obligations. But I'm glad it all worked out.
Now you're headed off to Martinsville this weekend. Tell us a little bit about how your test went at Martinsville and how what you're looking for when you get there this week.
The test went real good. I felt like we unloaded and got right back in a rhythm like we were last year. On old tires, we were fairly decent. So we waited around about after lunchtime. We put on stickers in the hottest part of the day and ran a lap time right up there where we thought would be really good, especially with the heat. And then we just kind of waited, and as you know, the concrete there really builds up rubber in the race. So we went back out after the rubber got on the track, and it played with the car a little bit. So we started tuning on it for race conditions like that. And I think when we get back there, hopefully the rain will hold off and we get some practice in. We made a few small minor adjustments trying to just make up for what we were feeling with the rubber buildup.
Now, how much emphasis do you put on Martinsville? I know back in the day that, I mean, everybody had their motors freshened up before they went to Martinsville. Anything new, they got it before they went to Martinsville.
Well, I'm running my other car, not the car that I ran at Langley. This is the car that's normally been the backup car at Langley. I've ran it at South Boston a couple of times this year, so it's fairly everything on it is fresh this season. And Martinsville's definitely is the biggest race of the season, and it opens up for the fall big races. So we definitely got all our stuff organized and ready to go, because to win that could change a lot for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So who are the big sponsors? We got Duragloss and somebody else that's going to be on your car for is it just next season, or do you have this for like a couple of years?
Well, as far as I'm told right now, it's definitely for the fall races and going into the next season, the whole next season, which I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we can pursue to more years to come and try to get up into the next rankings. But the other sponsor was Old School Video Games.
Oh, yeah.
So they came aboard, and then we got the Duragloss with them, and everybody's just coming together now, and it's just it's a big relief to finally have people notice you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, some people may not know how small a team and budget you guys have. So I mean, this sponsorship is a big deal. I mean, it's a real big deal.
Oh, definitely. A lot of people think, oh, Brenden got all the money out there, and they're not hurting, but it's totally opposite of that. We rake and scrape just to make it to the track weekly, and we just make do with what we have. I mean, nothing over here, no new chassis or nothing. I mean, the car I ran at Langley's old car that C. Fogg and Wesley Fogg have raced, so it's nothing new by any means.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew that from talking to you. I don't know if it was last year, and you were telling me, if you ran Martinsville or whether you didn't run it, that could be your whole season if you tore the car up, because you guys didn't have the resources to go get another car. And and I think that kind of humbles some. I don't say humble, maybe that's not a good word, but it makes a good driver, because that you got to keep your car together. You can't tear it up, and you got to you got to finish to finish first.
Yeah, it definitely that was the biggest key I've learned through my rookie year into last season, was a lot about just keeping the nose on the car, and you got to be there at the end to win, or to get a good run. And this year we came close to getting a win. Finished second a couple of times, and we took the lead in the Hampton Heat on the outside. So that was pretty cool highlights. It's just the small things that can really mess you up. Like, for instance, the biggest races of the year so far, the showdown, Denny Hamlin showdown, going out for qualifying. We had a top 10 car in practice, and we go out for qualifying, and a small crack in the track bar breaks, and we back it in the wall. And then Hampton Heat, we take the lead and break a shock mount. So it's just little things like that hurt us, and hopefully one of these nights the luck will all just come together.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, you're on the verge, and I think once you can bust through and get that first one, then it gives you that confidence, and you can walk around the garage. But let me back up a little bit. What is it like to have somebody like Phil Warren help you and help guide you? He spots for you most of the time and help you work on your car. Because, dude, that's probably, if there was one person I had to pick to be my crew chief or spotter, Phil is the top of the list.
It's a privilege to work with Phil. He's a class act, professional. Just, look at, where he's came from, all the races he's won, and then with C, and it's just, when we first started working together, it just, right then and there, I knew, that's what I needed if I wanted to be competitive out of what we had over here. And Phil knows how it is not having the biggest budget, and he told me that's where he came from. And we really started clicking in the past year and a half, just clicking like we need to, like a crew chief and a driver should. And definitely the results are starting to show, and we're being a lot more competitive. And in the mix weekly, it seems like, we got Clark's racing engines under the hood, and that was Phil and I talked a lot over the winter about what we needed, and that was definitely one of the things on the list, and we got that, and it showed right then and there that it had the power to put us up there. And Phil and I, he teaches me so much about just everything on the car. I learned so much just trying to be in the shop with him, and at the track he makes me a better driver on and off the track, actually. And he's the type of guy that I have the connection with. He tells me when I'm wrong or when I'm right with all the incidents that happen out at the track. So that's always good to have somebody that'll mentor you through everything.
Now, you haven't had any problems at the track, have you?
Well, I guess I'm like the Brad Keselowski this year. That's what it seems like.
I had to say it. You opened that door. I had to go in there with it. What kind? Are you going to run the Martinsville race? Or are you going to run any other races?
We definitely we're looking to go to Myrtle Beach and the Thanksgiving Classic. And we're also thinking about, we saw East Carolina's having a big race in November, and it's just all what our sponsor situation can do, and definitely get through Martinsville first and see what we got left.
See if they got a car left when they leave Martinsville.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough place with all the cars that show up at Martinsville. That's got to be, that's got to be a big thing to hopefully come out of there clean.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You just finish the race, you'll probably get a top 10 down there.
Yeah. Now, I got one more question. What are some of the changes you're going to make for next year, as far as your equipment-wise or whatever? What kind of things are you looking to change?
Well, not everything's set in stone yet on what we're going to do. We definitely would like a new chassis. We feel like we've got the motors now, and we've got the setups close, and we feel like that might be the missing piece to the puzzle to put us in victory lane. Look at Danny this year. He's been a little off the past couple of years, and he got a new chassis and just started dominating. And after Greg's wreck, and they put that car back together, and it started winning again, so we just feel like that might be the missing piece.
Well, I will say Phil is pretty high on you. I did have a conversation with Phil, and I was asking him, did he test your car? Like, because he tested a lot of CE's car, and CE and Falk drove it. And he told me that he doesn't do that with you because there's he said it just felt like there was too much, a little bit of weight difference, and that all the feedback on the car comes from you. And that says a lot for you.
Well, definitely when we first started together on our journey here, I wasn't the best at giving him the feedback of where he understood what I was saying. Just like every crew chief and driver, we had to find that feel where we understood each other. And I've definitely gotten a lot better at telling him what I need in the car and what I'm feeling. And he understands how I'm saying it. And it just, that's where it all started clicking. And I definitely feel like me and him can talk about anything on the car and come to an agreement.
All right, we're going to get away from the racing thing. I think Scott's got something to ask you a little something here, but get away from the racing thing for a minute.
So you play hockey online, is that right? And you're whipping some of these old guys. Who's that?
Well, actually, we don't play online. We play in person.
Oh!
And Friday night, I had to put a whooping on Danny Millard and Jordan Wood.
You did put Big Boy on the ice, did you?
Oh yeah, Big Boy had to bring his gold controller over to play me, and that gold controller didn't do nothing. He lost.
Now, what was this all this little bickering back and forth today? I mean, you know, he's an old man, from what I understand. I've never met the guy, but I've heard a lot about him, and I understand he's old. And
he wants to be my cheerleader when I'm playing Jordan. He's always like, shoot it, and then when I'm playing him, I start beating him. Then it's, oh, you're the most luckiest kid.
The most luckiest kid.
Now, he seems to be a real character here. I mean,
he's an easy target.
I know, it's surprised he hasn't walked in y'all's doors. He told me Friday night he heard I was going to be on the show, and I think he was a little jealous. So he drove past y'all's place and said, I'm going to go in there and crash it on Tuesday.
Well, one day we're going to have him and Jordan and Danny on, because that'll be a whole show in itself.
Oh, he wouldn't get any talking in.
He said I'd have to have the bleep button ready.
Oh, that's a... You know, his daughter's always putting up videos of him and Jordan going at it when I'm not there. And one night, one of them was about to knock a Christmas tree over or something, they said. I don't know.
There's no telling. I mean, there's no telling.
And I'm telling you, it gets intense. I mean, we play from 6 to midnight. It's a long...
How does that old man do that from 6 to midnight?
He can't last that long. He's huffing and puffing after a 20-lap.
Well, here's the thing: is he's not playing the whole time because I'm winning and the winner stays on.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Okay. You know, this is good because see, Danny can't defend himself.
I know he gets me all the time, so it's payback.
I know he got enough mouth for 5 sets of teeth.
I know. I'm surprised he ain't posted anything on Facebook yet.
Yeah, it's coming. You can believe it. It's coming.
You guys seem to be having a whole lot of fun. So,
hey, just tell him he doesn't have nothing on the Mountain Dew voltage, because that's what it is.
Mountain Dew
He'll know what
voltage.
I'm talking about.
you're gonna have to invite us out there to one of these hockey games. We want to see this.
Well, I'll have to invite y'all to the next one.
Yeah, you need to do that. All right, well, we appreciate your time tonight, Brenden. We'll let you get back. Hopefully we'll see you up at Martinsville on Sunday, and good luck to you.
Well, thank y'all for having me, and I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do it again.
Thanks, bud.
All right, talk to you later.
Right. Bye.
Yeah, you know what? He is a good kid. I know he has gotten some bad blood out there, for sure. But you know what? I mean, he's a young kid. We've all been in those situations. I don't know whether he was right or wrong in any of them, to be honest, because I wasn't there to see any of them. And we all know from racing that it's always the other guy's fault. That's the first rule of racing. It's always the other guy's fault.
Nobody knows. I mean, you know.
Right. And sometimes it's racing. And, you know, hey, you know, I mean, if I knew you had somebody that's never won a race on your bumper for the lead, you know he's going to give you everything you got.
Oh, yeah.
And you expect that.
Now, what you said is 98% true, but there's always that 2% where you bring on a lot of trouble yourself, and you know, and running around on an arena car, running backwards on the track, that's not somebody else's fault.
That's not racing.
Hey, Butterbean was actually the guy. I don't know if you remember, the first time I'd seen him a couple times at the racetrack because he had to run arena, and then a couple years ago, he come in and filled in Cody's car while Cody got in the 8 car. And Butterbean sandbagged and got in the B main, so he started behind me. And he's like, yeah, man, don't worry, I'm just going to run the race and you don't have to worry about me. I'm leading the race. He about beat the rear bumper slam off the car. I mean, every lap he tried to knock me, not out of the racetrack, but he tried to knock me out of the way. And they kept coming on the radio, so, if you just want to let him go, I'm like, no, I mean, once he knocks me up at the racetrack, I'll let him go by.
Right.
And I got to give it to him because he got loose because the car was a lot freer than what he's used to. Even though in practice he flipped it over by himself because it turned so good. But this is where I don't agree with some of the rules they have in arena. But he got loose, and to keep from running into me, he spun the car out. And that's kind of big because most persons just going, I'm going to just use the guy up in front of me if I got, and I would have probably done that. But he got in the back of me. I'm leading the race. He spins out and hits the wall. Well, they put both of us to the rear because I was part of the caution.
Yep.
And I come up, Butterbean, I thought you was just going to ride. He's like, man, I'm sorry. I don't know, man. I get in the car and I just can't help myself.
Oh, God.
So I can understand. I can relate too.
Okay, well, you know, I just what I was saying was it. A lot of times it is somebody else's fault, but.
Oh no, it was somebody else's fault on that one too.
All right, well,
you can make somebody's mad. Say make somebody is mad, and then eventually you got to face the consequences.
all right, well, let's move right into our picks for next week.
Oh.
So might as well get this done, and then we'll talk some more racing. But Joe, it's on you. You finished last week.
Well, I definitely got to pick the guy that I said was going to win the whole chase, and that's going to be my Kyle Busch.
He's going with last week's pick. I think I'm going to go with last week's pick for myself, too. I think Harvick is going to be, I think he's going to have a fast race car again.
Oh, yeah.
I think he is going to be just like he was this week. He's going to be determined.
Oh, yeah.
Whether he gets in or not, I don't know.
We hope he does.
I hope he does because it makes the chase that much more fun to watch. But I will be interested if he doesn't make it, how much further will that 48 go? Because you know he's not going to make it easy on him. I mean, we all know Harvick. And we want to talk about going backwards on the track and the consequences. That's a prime example.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be some equalizing going to be there. So Joe's taking Kyle Busch, you're taking Harvick. I'm going to have to break the mold, kind of.
Although, you know, we did go to victory lane last year with somebody.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do because I think they're running a little bit better. So I'm going to go with the guy who won last year. I'm going with Jeff Gordon. No, I'm not doing it because I have ties there, but
it would be nice to see him.
I think it would be.
Yeah, out of the blue, we got to go to victory lane with him. I mean, and as of right now, and I probably shouldn't have said that, but I did have said it a few times. I don't know if you noticed that if he doesn't win this year, if Jeff doesn't win this year, we went to victory lane at his last victory.
Yep.
And that, how sorry that is, but it's a cool thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's very true, and you know, to think about that my son worked in his last year that he's racing. He was there for the last 5 wins that he had, or 4 wins he had last year, whatever it was.
Got to win Indy.
Yeah, and he got to see how to win Indy. And we were talking about it a couple nights ago. My son has a win at Daytona in the Xfinity cars with Kurt Busch. He has a win at Charlotte. He has a win at Talladega. He has a win at Dover. He has a win at Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
But his one thing is he wants to win Richmond. He wants to be in the winning car at Richmond. He said, that's my home track. That's where I went. He kept saying that's where my dad took me all the time. That's where I want to win a race. So I'd like to see that.
He's been pretty fortunate. I mean, you got to say, because I mean, I know we kind of take it for granted because we've gotten to go to victory lanes and some things, but to go to victory lane in the Sprint Cup Series.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, that's few and far between. I mean, I know there's a few drivers that has won a race, but you can start looking at crew members and crew chiefs. There's not many of those that have a lot of wins.
You think about it, there are guys who are in that garage
that
have never won a race,
yes.
and there's with some of the teams may never see that. And it's really funny. You think about it with Lee. His first race in the Sprint Cup Series, he won.
Yeah.
They won at Talladega with Brad Keselowski. I mean, that's just, that was just weird.
I mean, that's cool.
So, I mean, it's, that's really a big deal. And he's now won some races, and he's won at some of the biggest tracks and some of the most prestigious places. He's got the trophy, and he's got a Kurt bought them all trophies from the Daytona race.
That's cool.
And so he's got the replica of the Daytona race in the man cave or whatever.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I mean, he bought the whole team. So.
And that's what I say about Langley. It'd be cool to do some victory lane things, because those kids, those people in the stands, we don't take it that cool because we get to do it or we get to be involved. Right. But those people in the stands, they would give anything to be in victory lane and have their picture taken. Yeah. I mean, I know for me, I've been fortunate enough to get my picture taken in victory lane in a nationwide race and in a cup race. First one was with Denny Hamlin in the nationwide race at Richmond, which was pretty cool. And then the following year, I got to go with Toyota. I want to thank those guys at Toyotas for allowing me to do it, though. But I got a picture taken with Kyle Busch when he won at Richmond, and get my picture taken with the Toyota guys in victory lane. And those are cool memories that not just anybody gets the privilege to do.
It's kind of like you were there at Martinsville when Jeff won the race at Martinsville a couple of years ago. And that was the first time I had ever even been close to a victory lane. And that was really, and I think I may have said to you, I may have said to somebody, if I never get to do this again, I've got to experience it once.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we lucked into Dover and we got to do it again. Now, Augustin said, that makes 2 for you, right? I said, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the same year or not.
No.
I think it was
Martinsville was the year before,
the
fall the year before. But, I mean, that's 2 wins that I got to go to victory lane with them.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just so cool to do. It's a cool experience, and not everybody gets to experience those things.
I spent so many years on the outside looking in. And now, I'm in the inside definitely looking out, and the things that I've got to do. And, I mean, words can't describe it enough, because, I mean, it's definitely been an awesome feeling.
Me and Brian Morehouse were walking around Richmond the Friday before Scott got there. We were walking around, and there were people lined up just to see the cars come out of the garage.
Yeah.
And, I stopped and I looked at it and I said, I used to be those people. I used to stand there and just wait for that to happen. And now, like you say, we take it for granted. I go in the garage. I mean, I roam around there, and it's a whole new ball game.
Look at us. I mean, we've gone from the outhouse to the penthouse. When we go to Charlotte, we'll have media parking passes. They're going to feed us.
You guys weren't going to rub this in my face.
Oh, we're not.
We're not rubbing it in your face. We get media credentials for Charlotte. I mean, that's the cool thing, and I was super excited, just as well as we all were, to be approved and have those things.
My first big time at the track was Atlanta Motor Speedway. Okay, and I got into the infield, and I'm walking up the road, and all of a sudden I run into some guy. Of course, well, I should say he ran into me, and I look up, and guess who it was? Carol Yarborough.
Oh, cool.
And dude, I'm like, oh my God, and of course it was definitely an awesome feeling, And he excused me, we talked for a few minutes, and I mean, I was just, tongue was tied. I didn't know what to say to this man, but it definitely was an awesome feeling.
Well, somebody asked me a couple years ago, what would be your biggest moment that you've ever experienced in racing? Well, nothing I would ever have done, even if I had won 500 races at Southampton.
Which we know is not true.
How many?
I said, if I had.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, nothing compares to when your son does something.
Oh, yeah.
And the neatest thing was his first Daytona 500. I flew to Daytona and went to the Daytona 500 with him for that's his first Daytona. And the biggest moment for me at Daytona was standing in that line where all them drive. You know how the pit crew stands in a line?
Oh, yeah.
I got to stand in line beside my son for the start of the Daytona 500.
Cool. That is,
and you look around and all these people, and then you think, look what he's accomplished. And that's bigger for me than anything I could have ever done.
Right.
So I mean, that's my big deal. So,
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, going to Martinsville and winning at Martinsville. That was unbelievable. I was beside myself that night. And
yeah, I mean, going to Victory Lane in any national series
What year was
is,
this year before last.
Was it? Okay.
yeah.
And the thing about it was, I wasn't going to go. I walked around with, the team. They run on around there. I wasn't going to go. I was going to go stand and watch.
Right.
But I wasn't going to go get up on the stage. And Lee finally, he said, "Come on, Dad, you're with me. Come on." And got up on the stage. Man, that was,
Yeah.
I don't care what happened. Then when he took me up there with him, I'm great. Look at me,
Yeah.
And then Dover, we went to Dover and we got to hang out with him in Dover. That was really huge. I mean, it was really huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, enough reminiscing for me. But,
What other news we got?
well, the Boyer penalty for all the stuff he did.
Well, I heard it was a beveled washer on the panhard bar. I guess they were trying to skew the rear. I guess
And-
is their
Yeah, the
thing.
Hopefully, they said the thing was today. I didn't hear nothing about what the appeal went out, but Michael Waltrip Racing did appeal it, and so that's
Nothing's been released yet.
so. Go back to the chase. Let's talk about the chase a little more. Hard to believe that the two cars that are automatically in the next round are both Gibbs cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about it earlier. I mean, first of the season, we would have never ever thought about it.
I would have never thought about it. I didn't think they were running that good at the first of the season,
Yeah.
and then look where they are now, and
Of course,
These
this
guys
is-
are on
this is
point
where it
right now.
counts. This is definitely where it counts.
even Hamlin. I mean,
But there at one time, and we're sort of talking about the whole. Well, I was thinking of the whole Kevin Harvick situation. He was leading there, and he was going to have to win to get in, or still. You're talking about gaining points on somebody. 9 out of the top 10, most of the race were all chase drivers. It's hard to make up 20-some points when they're all in the top.
yeah, they're all right there.
Oh yeah.
So many. So I mean, man.
Just looking at the races from this weekend, Matt Kenseth wins the Cup race. He's
I
automatic.
mean, he was smiling. He got a
got a
gimme there.
gift.
Oh, yeah.
and he knew it.
Yeah, yeah.
He knew. Look what I got. Ryan Blaney wins the Xfinity race over in Kentucky. I don't know if you watched it. Watched that was a good race too. It
Yeah.
was pretty good. And
The truck race was good too.
yeah, and Austin Dillon won the truck race. Doug Coby won the modified race up at New Hampshire this weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Got the
I forgot
pole
about that.
and the win. And the ARCA race from Kentucky, Ryan Reed, the kid with the diabetes, won the race. But from a personal standpoint, the guy who finished second was Travis Brayton.
Oh, really?
He's been in 2 ARCA races this year.
Oh, that's
He's
right. That's
won
the West
one
Virginia
and
guy.
Yeah.
finished second in the
Yeah.
other one.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's
right.
going to put this kid in a car.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I mean, somebody that's come showed up with a racetrack and hadn't been in that series before with a little old trailer compared to everybody else's full semi 18-wheeler tractor and trailer, and win a race his first time out and then finish second at these places he's never been. I mean, I can't imagine his phone is not ringing.
and those people at West Virginia, the West Virginia University, they are 100% behind this kid.
Yeah.
I mean, they throw everything they got at this kid.
I sure hope he's getting a free education out of this.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, I ask you a question. I'm going to ask both of you the same question. This was a heated topic the other night on the radio. Do you believe Junie Dunleavy should go in the Hall of Fame?
Personally, I would like to see it, but I don't think he has the stats
Right. And I definitely have to
To-
agree with that.
Okay.
to be
I mean,
in.
there's
All right.
I mean, there's just so many people that you could. There's so many
the careers
Junie
were-
Dunleavys.
yes, the careers
It
have
take
been
forever to
lost
get.
from
It's
him.
going to take forever to get to everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. But the thing that, and like I said, they were talking about his stats. He won 1 race.
Right.
And, but you look at the 45 or so drivers that he's had.
Right.
That he's given opportunity
I mean,
to.
you know, it's like they said, some of them probably would have never, and I know a couple of
Ken
them.
Schrader,
Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd.
You know what? Speaking of Ricky Rudd, talking about Jeff Gordon outdoing Ricky Rudd's Iron Man, and it is hard to believe how long he's been around. I mean, Jeff's still a young guy. I think his back and stuff bothers him a lot more than what people realize or what he wants people to know. I'd heard somebody say the other day that they had seen him before the race, and he ices up prior to the race. So, I mean, I think some people don't realize, and that's probably has something to do with his decision. But Ricky Rudd, I seen an interview they did with him, and he looks just like he did, except he's got a little more gray hair than he did. And he's racing over at GoPro Motorsports Park. He finished second in the points over there, which is originally what he started doing when he was a kid, is racing fast go-karts. It's just pretty neat to see that.
And, you know, even Jeff made the comment that they were talking about him being the Iron Man now, more starts and everything. He said, but you still have to consider what Ricky Rudd done.
Right.
Because the cars that Ricky Rudd drove are not the same cars they're driving now.
Yeah, I mean, that famous picture of him after Richmond racing with his eyelids taped up because he couldn't see because he's got two black eyes. So now you couldn't do that. They will not allow you to drive. Who was it that wrecked this weekend that's got a concussion, and he's going to have to
Eric
go.
McClure.
Yeah, he's going to have to go get, you know, tested to be allowed to come back. Where before didn't have any of those type of things.
Yeah.
And Ricky started young, you know, and, you know, I was looking at the stats of how consecutive races. I mean, I was looking at it, and you got, I mean, Earnhardt's not up there. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have done very well that are not in that stat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Earnhardt.
Petty. I mean, both of those got 7 championships. They're not in that. They probably ran as many races, but I don't know. Maybe they missed somewhere in the line. They're not in that. I don't know how many races overall they've run. But Jeff's been around a long time, and he kind of bridged the gap between. I don't know. There really wasn't many other people besides Labonte or. But
well, that's what they said on the TV the other night. Is he was the bridge between the Earnhardt, Petty, all that era to the new era. He was the guy that brought them into that new era.
Mm-hmm.
And but he made the comment that you got to look at what Ricky Rudd just tore up some cars and managed to come back. And of course, Jeff told about his ribs.
Oh yeah, at Texas.
Mm-hmm. Hurt his ribs real bad, and they had the next week off, and that streak would have probably ended if he had to race the next week. So, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so it'll be exciting this week to watch Dover. Who's in, who's out.
Oh yeah, it's going to be huge.
Yeah. I mean.
And we're going to see if Bubba Wallace and Brian Scott have round 2 of their fight.
Oh, that's not over. It's not over. There'll be some UFC fighting, man. If they still had Humpy over at Charlotte, Humpy would have that played up to the hill.
Got that right.
That's somebody we should probably have back. Is Humpy?
Oh, I'd love to get him back on. Matter of fact, I should try that. Get him back on here.
Yeah. But we look forward to going to Charlotte next weekend.
Yeah, we're going to Charlotte.
We're going to Charlotte. Joe's not going, but we're going to Charlotte.
And you know we're going to have a good time. We got a lot of stuff going on.
We're going.
Let's don't rub that in too much. But we're going to Charlotte.
Well, I'll handle the Langley segment.
We're still getting a tour over at Hendrick.
We're going to have to work on that because we're going in on Thursday, and I think the Cup cars are there. You said the Cup cars are there Thursday.
Yeah.
Probably going to be dead.
Or Saturday.
It's going to have to be Saturday morning for you know.
That's all right. I ain't got nothing to do Saturday morning.
So anyway, we'll work on that as we get going. I'll get in touch with them. But anyway, enjoyed it. Had a great show tonight. Yeah. Thanks to Brenden Queen, Shayne Laws for being with us,
and Danny Mallard for being a good target.
Oh yes.
And well, I don't know Danny Mallard. He would not.
Well, I mean,
no, he's never presented himself to be to me to introduce himself to me. Obviously, these people don't like him. So I want to make my own opinion, but right now it don't look good. But anyway, thank our sponsors.
Miles of Seamless Gutter. Please go to their Facebook, like them. Please go to our YouTube channel, like our videos. Please share them, watch them, let them run all night. we could use all the views we could get. Zims Foundation, thanks those guys for letting us present Zims Foundation, Ryan Zimmerman, Keith, Cheryl, all those people out there, Heather. The Zims Foundation, they got a gala coming up, and I think Buck Russ or Bucky Russ, Buck or whatever.
Buck Rice, Reese.
Right, Reese. Buck, you know who I'm talking. Apparently they're going to have some Denny Hamlin stuff at the Zims Foundation. It's going to be really cool. I don't know if it's a done deal yet, but they're going to have, we're working on, I don't know if it's got all approved, but to get a, so it'd be a great thing to buy you a ticket to come to the Zims Foundation. It's online. Go to zimsfoundation.org. You can buy tickets to come to the gala. There'll be a lot of personalized autograph stuff. There'll be some VIP tickets and passes. There's going to be more than likely a Denny Hamlin package for Martinsville in the spring. There's going to be some hot passes. Buck's going to take you to meet Denny up in the holler or what have you. So I don't know if that's totally been approved yet, but I know that's what they were working on, and I can't wait for that. Two guys that are from Virginia. They both had their rookie year. They're both professional number is 11. It's pretty cool. We got a autographed jersey up there from Ryan, and we thank them and thank those guys for just letting us be a part of and giving us cool stuff like this $50 little, I don't know what you would call it, to give away. So thanks to Zims Foundation for all that.
Langley Speedway, Bill Mullis, all the people out there for letting us be a part of that. We enjoy that.
Yeah, we look forward to continuing that next year.
Hopefully we will be able to be out there more next year. Also Pepsi.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Pepsi.
Yeah.
Because this place here gets to be a sauna some nights. And Pepsi is needed. But anyway, thank you for being with us tonight. We'll see you next week.